I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome to the regular school committee meeting for the Attleboro School Committee for Monday, June 17th. This is your notice that this meeting is being electronically recorded. The first item on the agenda tonight is actually executive session. The Attleboro School Committee Negotiation Subcommittee will convene in executive session pursuant to Mass General Laws, Chapter 30A, Section 21A2 and 3, to discuss strategy with respect to negotiations with union and non-union personnel, and to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining, respectively, as an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining position of the school committee. The committee will return to open session. I will entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
All right, roll call vote. I'll start with Ms. Sawyer.
Yes.
Mr. Domenici.
Yes.
Mr. Geddes, yes. Mr. Larson.
Yes.
Mr. Storrs.
Yes.
Ms. Porto.
Yes.
Excellent. So we will, the committee and the administration will go into another conference room so you folks can stay put and enjoy the comfort of the Zito room for a little bit. And we will be back as soon as we can. Welcome back to the open meeting. This is a reminder that this meeting is being electronically recorded. The committee discussed 3 memorandums of agreement. And so first, I will entertain a motion to enter into a memorandum of agreement with the Attleboro Educators Association as it relates to the work year calendar and language around their wage scale and annual leave.
So moved.
Second.
All right. So the committee discussed this in executive session. We had talked about the school year calendar at a meeting in, I believe it was January, one of our first meetings in January. And the final formula for determining the first day of school was pending these negotiations, but next year's calendar met both sets of language, which was why we were able to approve it. But based on this new language, families can plan the school year starting the first typical school day after the Friday in August. So there are some years where that will be prior to the Labor Day holiday, and there are some years where that will be the Tuesday after. Any additional questions or comments from the committee? All right, so I'm going to do a roll call vote, and I'll start with Ms. Sawyer.
Yes.
Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Domenici?
Yes.
Mr. Geddes, yes. Mr. Larson?
Yes.
Mr. Storrs?
Yes.
Ms. Porto?
Yes.
Okay, motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Next is an MOA. Next, I'll entertain a motion to enter into a memorandum of agreement with the Attleboro Paraprofessionals Association as it relates to their wage scale.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. So the committee did discuss this in executive session in more detail. Does anybody have any questions or concerns or discussion points?
Just a note that I have to abstain from any votes on paraprofessional contracts.
Thank you, Mr. Domenici.
Thank you.
Any others? All right. So once again, we'll do a roll call vote. I'll start with Ms. Porto.
Yes.
Mr. Storrs.
Yes.
Mr. Larson.
Yes.
Mr. Geddes, yes. Mr. Domenici.
Abstain.
Ms. Johnson.
Yes.
Ms. Sawyer.
Yes.
Motion passes with 6 yeas and 1 abstention. The last agreement is a memorandum of agreement with the Attleboro Paraprofessional Association with language related to holding other positions within the district.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. So one final roll call vote. Ms. Sawyer.
Yes.
Ms. Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Domenici.
Abstain.
Mr. Geddes, yes. Mr. Larson.
Yes.
Mr. Storrs.
Yes.
Ms. Porto.
Yes.
Motion passes with 6 yeas and 1 abstention. Thank you very much. So with that, we'll turn it over to the superintendent for the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Chairman Geddes. This time I'd like to call up Mr. Ashil Yangabi. As you well know, Ashil has been with us for 3 years now as assistant principal at Coelho Middle School, where he is finishing up that 3rd year. It turns out that being assistant principal at Coelho is a well-worn path to becoming a middle school principal here in Attleboro. So it comes as no surprise as we bring him here to introduce him as the next principal of Brennan Middle School. Ashil was part of the team of assistant principals who spent a day each week at Brennan this year when the principal resigned in September. Ms. O'Boyle was nice enough to step in as acting, and we can't say enough about the job that she did in holding down the fort, but she had a lot of help, and lots of people came in to provide support to help us to get through what was a challenging year. And Ashil was one of those assistant principals, and clearly he must have done something right during that time because he was one of the 3 finalists that the screening committee sent forward. Now, we talk a lot about how it's very hard to find good administrators and the pool is shallow, but it was very encouraging that when we do a search the right way, at the right time of year, we do produce finalists. And I have to say that was sent 3 excellent finalists by the screening committee. They really did their job well, and I was given a real choice to make. But it was not a difficult choice in the end, because Ashiel knows Attleboro, and we know him and know what he is capable of producing. And with his ties to Attleboro, it just was an obvious choice for us. And so it is with great pleasure that I introduce to you the next principal of Brennan Middle School, Ashiel.
Thank you, Dave. Good evening, school committee members. Good evening, families at home. It's my pleasure and privilege to address you as the incoming principal of Brennan. In my time there, I've been fortunate to work at Brennan at a limited capacity, but very fortunate to get to know the staff, the students there, and the families. I've learned that Brennan is a dynamic, passionate community of dedicated educators, enthusiastic students, and supportive families, all committed to fostering an environment of academic excellence and personal growth. I do want to take this opportunity to acknowledge Ms. Julia Boyle, who I've had the opportunity to work with, and the staff there. They've overcome a challenge in such a short window and have been unwavering towards working towards student success. Right, in spite of some of the challenges, the being down one administrator in a short window of time to get the team together and with the staff, all for student success, all to work with our families and supporting our students, and the teachers for embracing the new challenges, yet another turnover, another new administration coming in. They've been awesome. They've been unwavering and working towards, again, putting everything aside towards students. Everything is all about the students and the families. As I look to start this new journey, and I think about the future and all the possibilities, I'm very excited. We're committed, the new administration team is committed towards continuing our efforts towards providing an exceptional education for every student, and to support the teachers and staff in their professional growth, and to engage the communities and families in a meaningful way. So I'm very excited and look forward to working with the team here, with Dave Sawyer in central office, and the community. Thank you very much.
Excellent. Well, first of all, congratulations. And to further what Mr. Sawyer said, I actually served on the screening committee, and it was not only difficult to identify 3 finalists for Mr. Sawyer, but it was difficult to identify 9 candidates to interview based on the pool. So that you rose to the top is, I agree, is a credit to your commitment and your attitude, and the strong fit that we see with Brennan and their staff. So congratulations. I know I'm looking forward to what you do there. Does anybody else have any comments for Mr.? Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I'm glad, Dave, that you pointed out the Coelho path, as it seems, and having 3 children passing through Coelho. My last one is still there. It's a credit to the structure there, first and foremost, with Mr. Bowles. And secondly, I had the privilege of being at the color run this year for Coelho, and you could see how much the kids really appreciate and respect Ashile. We're sad to see you go at Coelho, but I know the passion and the energy that you're going to bring to Brennan, and you're going to help elevate everybody there the way you've done at Coelho. I'm very proud of the fact that you're there. I'm thankful to Julie for covering for the last year. That was not an easy task. But we look forward to seeing great things coming from Brennan in the coming year and beyond. So congratulations.
Thank you.
We'll miss you at Coelho.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Thank you.
So for our next introduction, Ashiel, take it from here.
All right.
First
So-
duty.
So I want to introduce the new member of the administrative team at Brennan, Dawn Greenan. I'm so happy to introduce Dawn. In my short time there, I've had the ability to connect with Dawn, and it's been seamless. Dawn is such a high caliber, dedicated staff. she brings a wealth of experience. In my transition there, I started to think about what the team would look like as far as the administrative team and what we needed to steer the ship, to get the school going in the right direction, and to bring back some of the passion that was instilled in this school for many years. And to have someone who has 28 years of experience working in that building in various capacities, from being a classroom teacher to stepping up in the ILT, again, many leadership roles, you name it, she's done it. Currently, this year, she stepped up and served as the dean of students when the school was down one administration. Going through the committee, go through the process and reaching out to the committee, and it was instant how they felt about Dawn. It was very evident based on her work there. And then when I introduced Dawn to the faculty, it was exciting to see the relief in everyone's face, the excitement and relief in everyone's face. But that's a testament to Dawn's work ethic and ability. She's someone who cares deeply about the school and the Brennan community. So I'm very excited to have Dawn on the team.
Thank you so much. Good evening. I would like to start just by saying thank you to every member here of the committee and to Superintendent Sawyer and Assistant Superintendent Regan for this opportunity. Your trust and confidence in my abilities are truly humbling, and I will work hard not to disappoint you. I'd also like to thank Ashiel and my coworkers and my family who have supported me throughout my journey here at the Attleboro Public Schools. I am truly grateful for all of them. My journey in the Attleboro Public Schools began in 1974 as a student at the Finberg Elementary School. From there, I went on to Coelho Middle School and then graduated in 1988 from Attleboro High School. I always knew that I wanted to be a teacher and felt a passion to teach in the community that had once educated me. So in 1994, I began my teaching career at the then Thatcher Middle School. I was young, inexperienced, and very nervous to find that I would be teaching with my former teacher. That was awkward. 2 years later, I had the honor of being transferred to Brennan Middle School, where I have been ever since. I have learned a lot since those early years, gaining experience and honing in on my skills. I've taught thousands of students, and I've even had the pleasure of teaching some of my former students. This school year, I was presented with the opportunity, as you mentioned, to be the dean, and I quickly embraced those challenges. All of those experiences have brought me to today with yet another new title that I will hold, assistant principal. I have been fortunate to work alongside dedicated colleagues and mentors who have inspired me and guided me to be the leader that I am today. In my new role, I am eager to collaborate with my new administrative colleagues upon our district's successes and to tackle new challenges. I look forward to fostering an environment where every student thrives, every teacher feels supported, and our community continues to grow stronger. Together, we will create an academic excellence for all and create a learning environment where we will engage, challenge, and inspire every student. So thank you once again. I embark on this journey with enthusiasm and commitment. I can't wait to get started.
Excellent. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I will say, during Mr. Youngabi's screening, I joked with the search committee that I had dealt with middle schoolers for a couple of days, and I was reminded why I don't deal with middle schoolers on a regular basis. So to have such committed educators in these buildings. One of the other things that was evident was that the staff at Brennan recognizes how dynamic and how unique that population and that school community is, and how important it was for them to have people that understood the dynamics in the community, serving in leadership roles in the building. So I think we're very fortunate to have you step into this role as well.
Thank you.
Mr. Larson?
Ms. Greening, we've known each other for a number of years, and I'm not surprised that we're seeing you take this move. So congratulations, and I'm sure you're going to do a great job.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Congratulations to both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll see you soon.
I would just add that we've had our eyes on Ms. Greening as a target for possible administration for a while now, and it's really a testament to Ashiel that he was able to land such a big fish right out of the gate. So, big win for all of us. All right, with our final introduction this evening, I'd like to call up Ms. Singer.
Thank you, Superintendent Sawyer. I would ask Katie Scott to join me. It is my pleasure to introduce Katie Scott as the new assistant principal at Hyman Fine Elementary School. Katie has been employed in the Attleboro Public Schools since 2012, where she started out as a substitute, both daily and long-term sub, until she finally took a teaching position in 2015 at Hill Roberts Elementary School. Over the years, Katie has strategically sought out opportunities for growth by volunteering and participating on committees and councils to deepen her understanding of what it means to be an administrator in Attleboro, which not everybody really grasps that concept. So her pre-work was greatly appreciated. Whether it's been a union representative to vice president, to councils and committees throughout the district, ILT, PG committee, the math curriculum review team, just PTO as a parent. Katie has demonstrated her commitment not only to herself, but to the staff, the students, and the district as a whole. Katie was the only internal candidate for this position, and the committee, when they met, decided that they wanted to interview the internal person first before even looking at any other candidates. What they were looking for was someone who was invested in their community, someone who was organized, communicates effectively, was honest. They wanted an AP who had experience with discipline, someone who could advocate for students, staff, and the school. And Katie absolutely blew them away in her interview. First of all, very organized. Yeah, very organized, which they appreciated. But they were impressed with her knowledge, not only of Attleboro, but specifically of the needs of Hyman Fine, and what the staff were looking for in their leaders, what they expected of their leaders. They felt that she embodied that. They were excited that she's aware of the unique challenges of an open building, because she's in the sister school, so quite aware of what those challenges are. They felt the commitment that she had to whatever challenge she took on, and they felt that her organization, commitment, and ability to put systems and processes in place were exactly what Hyman Fine needed. And so, without further, I present Katie Scott.
Thank you, Julianne. Good evening. So I'd like to thank the committee for giving me the opportunity to speak tonight. I also want to thank the hiring committee at Hyman Fine for seeing the potential in me and all I have to offer them, and to Superintendent Dave Sawyer and Lori Regan for trusting in their judgment. I've been so fortunate to be part of this incredible community. I have had many family members go through the Attleboro school system, as well as myself, my husband, our children. I'm grateful to all my colleagues that have supported me on this journey and encouraged me to pursue this next step in my career. I believe in the mission and the vision of Attleboro, and I'm excited to bring my experience, skills, and passion for education to this new role to help me lead the students and staff at Hyman Fine. I look forward to collaborating with the staff to determine areas we need to focus on and how to achieve our goals together as a team. I can't wait to meet the students and to work in the classrooms as they engage with the curriculum. I'm motivated to make some much-needed changes and to continue to support the great work that the staff are already doing. July 1st can't come fast enough for me, as I'm ready to hit the ground running. Thank you.
Congratulations, and I see Dawn nodding her head the same way, emphatically in agreement with you.
We're ready.
Congratulations. I'll turn it over to Ms. Sawyer.
Thank you. I want to say congratulations. My daughter had Katie many years ago. She just graduated.
I can't believe
it. I know. And so, I had interaction with her, and we're so lucky to have you. She's a fantastic teacher. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Larson?
Yeah, I've had the opportunity to interact with Mrs. Scott over the past year through lab, and I've always been impressed with her knowledge of the topics and always being organized. So I think this is going to be a great move for everybody involved, so congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, the most of the time that we have spent together was through negotiations with the union, and I was always very impressed by your professionalism and your advocacy and your dedication to anything that you have sunk your teeth into. I very much enjoyed reading in your classroom during Read Across Hill Roberts earlier this year, and even in my 10 minutes, 15 minutes reading, it was unbelievable to me that you could teach in that environment on a day in, day out basis all day, because I was getting distracted by the class next door. But credit to all of our building administrators and the central administration for continuing to bring forth incredible talent in this district to take on leadership roles like this. So we're very lucky to have you, but you're leaving some big shoes to fill at Hill Roberts. So.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Congratulations.
Scott certainly has distinguished herself in her role as a AA official. It was often like having another administrator in the room, so that's that's going to be a benefit that we're going to certainly miss, but it makes perfect sense that she joins the administration, so we're so happy to have her. Okay. Our next business this evening is our progress report as part of the strategic plan. I just wanted to echo what I wrote in Friday's update to the committee. Last year really felt like the first year since the pandemic that we returned to normal, that our schools felt like schools again and the classes looked like business as usual. But this is the first year that we really felt like we got back to business. As a district that does more with less, and that's something that we take great pride in, we only do that by not settling for good enough, right? We push ourselves, we try to stay ahead of things, we take the culture of continuous improvement very, very seriously, and the strategic plan is the way that, we make the tough decisions about what to prioritize and where to put our efforts. So I think it's appropriate to end this year with our progress report on all that we accomplished. So with that, turn over to Ms. Regan.
Thank you, Superintendent Sawyer. Thank you, committee. So the presentation tonight will summarize our progress to date of the outcomes that we had identified to focus on for this year, and we'll also go into a little bit more depth and detail about the outcomes that we have planned for next year. Okay, I think most of you know we started this strategic plan, hard to believe, well before the pandemic started. It was interrupted, and then as soon as we got back to business, that's when we completed the plan. And then, I'd like to say proud that we were able to maintain our focus on what truly mattered in that moment, which was our students, and really thinking about how we can continue to, as our mission and vision say, is to engage, challenge, and inspire all of our students. So the goals for tonight are for us to share with you the annual planning process, our timeline that we've been following for the past couple of years, what we have for our progress, the outcomes that you've already seen in January that we'll be focusing on for next year, and then what next year will look like as we begin our new process to write the new strategic plan. So on this slide, we'll be looking specifically at number 5, and we'll be looking at the strategic outcomes, providing more detail there. And in your information that you received from Ms. Nelson already over the weekend, you received a summary of all of the strategic plans in your packet. She'll also be sharing that information with you with all of the strategic plans shortly in one contained file. So you'll be able to see all of the information there. Just to summarize the strategic goals, so Goal 1 is talking specifically about personalized learning. Goal 2 is maintaining reciprocal relationships with our families and the community. And Goal 3 is to ensure access to meet the needs and respond to the needs of all of our students. All right, so it's hard to summarize everything that we've done this year on one slide, but I'm gonna try my best to do that. So, looking very specifically at Goal 1 with student learning, personalized learning, we did a lot of work this year with really reviewing and analyzing our data using our new data dashboard that we have. Looking closely at our district data, the school data, our classroom data, and each of the building principals met with Superintendent Sawyer and I and the curriculum coordinators, and we were able to really talk about some of the systems and processes that they have in their schools right now and how using that data can help inform what they do in those processes. I think as we've mentioned before, through the Teaching and Learning Subcommittee, we've received the HQIM grant, the High Quality Implementation Grant. We received significant professional development with that, and we've been able to really increase the capacity through that professional development of many of the teachers in grades 3 through 6 through that grant. In terms of the structures, so specifically this year, I'd have to thank the Attleboro High School guidance team. They had the idea of bringing our current 8th graders in December to give them a tour of the building. The band, the Attleboro High School band, played for them. They were able to meet with guidance counselors and to start to select their courses. That was very well received by many students, families, and staff, so I think that'll be something that will continue moving forward. We also continued and I think was able to streamline our cross-level articulation, so for grade 4 to 5 and grade 8 to 9, we continued with those meetings and feel like we've been able to share some critical information as students transition to a new level. In the community, I'm sure you've seen a lot of information on social media and in other media outlets about our students, not only Attleboro High School students, but our middle school students and our elementary students. They're out in the community, they're raking leaves, they're at food drives, clothing drives, they're in the food pantries, they're in thrift stores, they're cleaning up burial grounds. I think that was the most recent thing that I've seen, but they are out there in the community and they are supporting our community every chance that they can. In terms of Goal 2, with family and community engagement, Ms. DePalma and her team, they continually are looking for partnerships. They have streamlined the registration process. We're continually looking at that to make it seem more seamless. We all know that if any family or student that comes into the district needs an interpreter, that's just what we do. That's part of our process. Another area that the Welcome Center and Ms. DePalma and her team have been successful with is our partnership with the William James Interface Referral System. This service provides mental health counseling services for students, and so with that service, they're able to meet the needs of whatever the student needs and make a connection pretty quickly. The information that we received from anyone who has used the service, it says that it's very efficient and effective. And so we'll be receiving more data from the service soon, but that's the anecdotal data that we have right now. In terms of our resource guide with the Welcome Center, that is up and running. It's on the Welcome Center website, and so if you open up that resource guide, you'll also be able to see all of the information about the resources available in our community in terms of childcare, parenting, food and nutrition, enrichment, health and wellness, mental health, housing, facilities, utilities. Everything is included in one spot. It's for families to learn more information about what's available in our community. And then finally, Goal 3, culturally responsive education. And so I think everyone saw with the Student Opportunity Act, we identified 2 specific subgroups: our multilingual learners, or our English learners, the students that we service for ESL services, and our students with disability. That's the subgroup that we're really working with closely, and the HQIM grant also helped us with that to provide some professional development. And looking closely at professional learning, Ms. Singer was able to lead a group of a paraprofessional session where she was able to present pathways to paraprofessionals so that they could see what was available to them in terms of education, not only in Attleboro, but in the career itself. And also, Mr. Gay has shared with all of his CTE teachers that they have guaranteed seating with the MAVA cohort, which is the Mass Association of Vocational Administrators. So that's a quick summary of everything that we did this year. And so, I don't know, before I go on to, what we have planned for next year, I didn't know if you had any questions.
I mean, it truly is remarkable to Mr. Sawyer's opening statement about doing more with less. I mean, this, as brief as that summary can be and is, it's still a lot that's going on. So, thank you.
All right,
Mr.
so,
Domenici?
I was going to say, and maybe I apologize if it got by me, because there's a lot that we were covering, but this is also the first year, right, that middle school the ACA was expanded to middle school.
yes,
So
thank
now
you.
there's even another cohort of students that we are trying to keep and get them to the finish line educationally, K through 12. So,
Yes.
yeah, I having seen some of that, I was really thrilled to see that expansion was successful this year.
Definitely was successful, and I think it's a tribute to Ms. Hickox and Mr. George to welcoming all the students that were there and then expanding that throughout the school year. And so I feel like the opening of it was successful, and we're excited to see where it continues to grow from here. So, thank you for mentioning that. All right, so continuing on for 24, there we are. Continuing on to the next one. So for the 24-25 academic year and the specific goals that we have identified, I think you'll see that many of them have been, we've been working on them for a while, right? Some of these have been in the back of our minds. We've been planning and preparing for them since we've written the strategic plan. And so I think what you'll see as we go into more detail about the next plans, you'll see how these have definitely already started, and we're going to continue expanding them as throughout this year coming. Okay. So looking very specifically at what we have here, it looks like this is a different slide, a different presentation. So I'm going to share some specific information that I have already for the goals that we have. For 24-25, what we'll be focusing on for student learning is specific to continuing to integrate social and behavioral learning, and so we'll be expanding PBIS and continuing a refresh on PBIS, as well as the second steps curriculum that we'll have in K-4. We will also be continuing our conversation with all of the stakeholders that have already started to work on this in discussions about the middle school schedule. So we'll be revising that schedule and trying to really look at the needs of our students and see if there's another way that we can support them through some of the academic enrichment that we have, specifically looking at how we've integrated band into the schedule right now, but looking at other ways and other options that we can include into that schedule. Right now with CTE, when I spoke with Mr. Gay and Ms. Montagano, he shared with me that they are reaching a saturation point of students participating in CTE programming. And what they're really trying to do right now is expand the depth and breadth of the programs rather than add new programs. And so some of the things that they've identified that they are continuing to work on is increased clinical rotations for the medical assisting students and the dental assisting students. They're also looking at the cosmetology program. Specifically, they've opened up their front-facing store, which is called Blue and Beyond Salon and Spa, and so they will have expanded hours and services in the fall. Marketing students will be working at the Bristol County Savings Bank to expand their branch hours. They'll also be opening up a second location of the Blue Hanger School Store that'll also be in the front, forward-facing, for the community. And the Skills Capital grants have all been submitted, and equipment for automotive technology specifically to train students in fully electric and/or hybrid automobiles is what they're targeting. So that's what they'll be doing. For goal 2, we'll be looking very specifically at sharing our positive experiences with the community. So I don't know if you've noticed, but we've really started to take some of the things that we've been doing in our schools and some of the how the students are engaging with the community and sharing that through our social media outlets and other media. And I think we've started to receive some positive feedback from that as well. So we'll be continuing to work on that through this year. And as I mentioned previously, the Welcome Center will just continue to meet the needs of all of our families with the resources that they have available, the connections and the partnerships that they have. And then contingent on funding, the Director of Career and Technical Education, Mr. Gay, and Ms. Montagano, they will be opening up the Attleboro Technical Institute, which is the evening program. And so specifically that evening program is for individuals to participate in automotive technology, welding, plumbing, and HVAC. The training will be open to unemployed or underemployed adults. They must be a Massachusetts resident and are available to attend 20 hours of training. Participants will receive assistance as needed, and they'll receive any of the materials or tools that they need upon completion of the course. And they will also receive OSHA certification. They'll develop a resume, cover letter, and they will have a digital portfolio that will demonstrate their skills mastery as part of that program. So that'll be something that we've been working on. And I would say that's one of those initiatives that we've identified, well before this year as something that we knew we needed to reflect on and prepare. Our Attleboro High School students will continue to volunteer. We'll just start to see them in more and more locations throughout the city because that's what they do and that's what they enjoy doing. And then finally, for goal 3 with culturally responsive education, we will continue to support our students in having that growth mindset and showing them the many opportunities that we have available for them in terms of advanced coursework, encouraging them to participate in those courses. And then continuing to invite the community into our schools to see all of the opportunities available in CTE, but then also to take a closer look what we have in the schools in terms of just teaching and learning. So events like Night to Discover, and then all of the other events that each individual school has in their own buildings in terms of visual and performing arts performances, and even some of the musical performances that we've had here because the size of the building wasn't big enough to host them. So I think we're fortunate to be able to have such a robust program with the arts and continue to really showcase that as well. And I think, we just need to continue to share all of this with our community. And so in terms of our next steps for next year, we will launch the implementation that I just talked about for these final strategic outcomes. We will begin the new strategic planning process in the fall of 2024. We'll have a committee of any school committee member that would like to participate, educators, students, families, and administration. And then we will also, at the end of next year, provide the final progress report on the outcome of this entire process.
Mr. Storrs?
Well, with the evening program, something I know we've been talking about for a little while now. It sounds like a wonderful thing, and I'm glad that we're getting to that point. Well, what's the funding source associated with this?
So the grant funding that we get, the acknowledgement of whether or not we receive that is still embargoed. So if we do receive it, it'll be through a grant.
Okay, so it'll be 100% covered through the grant. And that grant would be reoccurring, or is it a certain time frame?
I believe it is a one-year grant.
I'm not sure the length of the grant, but there are startup costs, and then it's to be a part of a thing that would have ongoing support from the state.
From the state? Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that was a promise that we made to the community as part of the campaign for this building, because it was something that we thought should be happening in the old building, but knew that the old building couldn't support it, and it would have been a terrible launching spot for that. So hopefully that funding does come through, and we can start to offer that as further opportunities for the community. Ms. Johnson?
Thank you, Mr. Geddes. So I just want to make a comment that when we were planning the new AHS, there's a lot of thoughtful planning that went in, and something that was really important was that we wanted to future-proof as much as we could. And it was a really difficult position for the school building committee to think, wow, we've got to plan for what we don't even know what the future may hold. And I just want to say that from this report, I'm so excited to hear that seems to still be the thought process that is continuing with the curriculum. The fact that, especially with CTE, instead of going broad, we are going deeper, and we're focusing on the future in automotive with the electric and the hybrid. I think that's fantastic. And just building the schedules to hear that the arts are really going to be focused on again in the middle school, and we're bringing that music. It seems like there's going to be some more opportunities there. That's fantastic. And again, I just want to thank our medical and dental students, because I remember previously we had gotten reports back that they got really high marks and really high comments when they were doing their clinical rotation. And again, just to show that how this all builds on each other, and we're going to go deeper with that. And I'm sure that there's going to be more opportunities because of our proven record with those students. So a thank you for all this hard work, and continuing this future-looking planning with the curriculum.
Ms. Johnson? Anyone else? Well, something Mr. Sawyer mentioned in his introduction was the district's dedication to not settling for good enough. I had a mentor when I was young that said, good enough is neither good nor enough. And that always stuck with me. And I think as we've gone through, we'll be completing my second strategic plan since prior to me joining the committee. And just seeing the growth that has happened between the Envisioning 2020 and now our 2025 plan, I'm excited to not only see where this plan ends up next spring, but what the 2030 vision and planning will include next year. So congratulations to the administration on all of the incredible work. Congratulations to the students. And thank you to our educators that have put forth so many incredible opportunities, whether it is CTE or performing arts. It's been exciting to get back to business as usual. So thank you very much.
Thank you. This time I'd like to call up Mr. Furtado as we ask you to approve FY '25 budget.
Good evening, sir.
In our deliberations on the budget, starting back in December, but we never got to the point where we approved a formal budget. The municipal council approved the city's budget at the end of May, so we are in line now to have a final number, which is on the agenda and on the memo, to formally approve from the school committee, so we can start doing business July 1.
All right, so with that, I'll entertain a motion to approve the city's appropriation of $103,927,307 for our fiscal year 2025 operating budget.
So moved.
Second.
All right. Any questions or comments? Mr. Storrs?
How much above net school spending is that?
I think it's 1.8 million.
Thank you.
And I did notice that this number is about 40,000 higher than what we had previously approved in April. I know part of that was the House budget had gotten us about 38,000 additional dollars. Was that the only difference between the final appropriation and what we had approved back in April?
Yes, essentially, yep.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? All right, seeing none, we'll do a roll call vote. I'll start with Ms. Porto.
Yes.
Mr. Storrs?
Yes.
Mr. Larson?
Yes.
Mr. Geddes, yes. Mr. Domenici?
Yes.
Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
Ms. Sawyer?
Yes.
Thank you. The motion passes unanimously. Congratulations, you got yourself a budget.
Thank you. Just one other thing quickly, and I apologize for this, it came today. The city has asked us to enter into an MOA regarding the use of the Willett Field. So they have outlined an MOA that essentially codifies current practice and the practice as it's been for the last 10, 12, 15 years. Nothing new, nothing different, nothing unusual, but they're asked that it be put in writing. So that'll be brought to you next time we meet.
And is that in relation to the Recreation Department or the YMCA or?
It's in relation to the Recreation Department, who has always managed the field, maintained the field, did all of that stuff, and it codifies a practice where we, for instance, it just had a field day and had to apply for the use of the field through the Recreation Department.
All right, we'll look forward to it. Mr. Domenici?
Since we have you, I just had a couple of quick questions that are more facilities related. I happen to notice a crew out here. I had gotten a couple of questions and we had seen some updates about there being a crossover between the previous vendor for the maintenance of the area versus the new vendor. Is it safe to say that the new vendor has started? Is that?
Unfortunately, no. We are in a condition right now where one of the bidders is protesting the bid. So, per the Attorney General's office of the state of Massachusetts, we are not allowed to enter into a new contract or bring a new vendor to our site. The folks you saw there today were actually a subcontractor of the existing vendor. So we are hoping to get the matter resolved quickly. We strongly feel that we have a very provable and valid position, but unfortunately, it's a process.
I only ask because I actually got some questions on it, including from a city councilor who must have gotten questions on it, and so I figured I'd ask, so thank you for that. And then,
I'm sorry, Mr. Domenici, I know you have some other questions, but if I could just ask, did the protest come in after the last week's, or 2 weeks ago, the Finance and Budget Subcommittee? Because we have a motion to approve a landscaping contract
Yes.
on the agenda for tonight, so
Yes,
we won't be taking that.
Cannot
vote
do
tonight.
that tonight.
Okay.
good point, thank you. And then the only other thing, I know we got a couple of updates from our last superintendent's message about some work that's getting started this summer. Our last infrastructure meeting was in May. We don't meet again until the next school year. So I know that Willett is on track, and what else did we have that was on track? Thatcher. Okay, Willett and Thatcher for the HVAC, and then Studley, it was going out for bid. This is all work that we still expect is going to be done prior to the start of next year, right? We're still on
Yes.
track for all
Train
this.
was on site today, full crews at Thatcher and Willett. So those two projects are fully underway, and yes, we expect a bid process. That installation is a very short, small
Yeah,
project, so we don't have any concerns at this point
okay.
about finishing Studley.
I took the opportunity to ask you those questions while we meet, because we don't meet as frequent, so that's all the questions I had.
Any other questions, for Mr. Furtado, budget or otherwise? All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
One final piece of business this evening. Under Mass General Law, the school committee appoints the school physician. You may not know that Dr. Entwistle, the longstanding school physician for the Attleboro Public Schools, has retired, which left us in the position to find a replacement. Ms. DePalma and our nurse coordinator, Ms. Cerrone, conducted a thorough search and have sent forward as their finalist Dr. Jennifer Thompson. Dr. Thompson is a sturdy pediatrician with strong community connections, and they are very excited at what she has to offer in terms of helping us to strengthen our relationships with the doctors and the pediatricians here in Attleboro to better collaborate for the betterment of our students. So we're very excited at the prospect of her coming on board as a member of the team, and hope that you will appoint her this evening.
All right, so with that, I will entertain a motion to appoint Jennifer Thompson, or excuse me, Dr. Jennifer Thompson as school physician in accordance with Mass General Laws, Chapter 71, Section 53.
So moved.
Second.
All right, any questions or comments?
Just a quick one.
Committee, Mr. Storrs?
Because this wasn't included in the packet at all, was this something that wasn't known, that it just came up, or is this something that was known that just wasn't included?
The need to appoint had been lost in the shuffle.
Okay. I mean, we can only make our decision based on a recommendation. We don't have anything else, so that's fine. But, okay.
Any other questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Sawyer. I will take this this quick opportunity. A couple of weeks ago, Mr. Bennett, Mr. Domenici, and I were able to join the administration in celebrating at the end of year celebration for the AEA. I just want to again express my gratitude and congratulations to our educators that retired this year, and thank them for their service. And congratulations to all of those milestone employees, of which there were many, and for all of the newer educators that achieved their professional status across the district. It truly was a fantastic event and a great night. So thank you to the administration for organizing that, and congratulations to all of the educators that were recognized that night. Mr. Domenici, I don't know if you want to add anything.
No, I think you summed it up. I think it was about 145 people that were honored in one way, shape, or form. So it's a nice thing that we do at the end of the year. So I hope to see that continue.
I know they appreciate the committee's support in making that happen.
And thank you to the AEA for their part in organizing that as well. So next on the agenda is approving the minutes for our May 6th, 2024 and our May 20th, 2024 meetings. If the committee has no objections, I'll take them as one motion. All right, so I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes from our May 6th, 2024 and our May 20th, 2024 meetings.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions or concerns or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Our consent agenda has a number of items. First is a motion to accept a donation in the amount of $680 from VHS Learning to Attleboro High School for their participation in the Massachusetts STEM Advancement Placement Expansion Opportunity for deposit into the gifts donation line at Attleboro High School. Motion to accept the contractual obligation from Planet Aid in the amount of $90.50 as broken down on the May 17th, 2024 memo. Motion to accept the donations in the amount of $17,000 from the Feinstein Foundation as broken down in my memo dated June 14th, 2024. Motion to accept a donation of student lunch balances to be donated from the class of 2024 in the amount of $113.10 to go towards the lunch balance account of students in need. Motion to accept the contractual obligation in the amount of $289.28 from Shutterfly LLC to Brennan Middle School as broken down on the May 28th document. Motion to accept a donation in the amount of $2,000 from the Attleboro Elks going to the Attleboro High School Unified Track Team. And motion to accept a donation in the amount of $1,000 from the Attleboro Elks going to the Attleboro High School athletic fees.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions or comments from the committee? Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Subcommittee reports, we have one tonight, and for that, I will turn it over to Mr. Larson for Finance and Budget.
Finance and Budget Subcommittee met on June 5th. Went through a number of different housekeeping items. We reviewed some of the projects going on. We reviewed how the year was closing up and the efforts of Mr. Furtado and his team of wrapping up the year. We're still on target for having the surplus that we've been talking about, approximately $1 million, but we'll know that more after the year's closed up. And, you know, obviously a lot of that is all based on using federal funds instead of the other, which is how we were directed to do it by City Hall. So we have followed that right along. We talked about a number of different contracts that we will be bringing forward, and I think that's about it. So first one, it's a housekeeping motion to forward to the municipal council for prior year invoices in the amount of $663.72.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you. We're going to skip the next one. Next, as we annually have to do, entertain a motion to approve the contract with Whitson's Nutrition LLC for the food service for the FY25 school year.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions or concerns? Yes.
This isn't, it's not that it's an annual approval of the contract. Isn't this because wasn't it 3 years and then we had to approve the
Well,
subsequent?
it's actually a 5-year contract that we have to renew on an annual basis.
Yeah, okay, thank
So
you.
we're not starting a new one. We're just doing the housekeeping of staying within the one that we have.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. And last, motion to approve the lease agreement with Konica Minolta for 8 copier machines within the district for 48 months.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions or concerns? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. That's my report.
Thank you, Mr. Larson. Next on the agenda is open forum. Open forum is the time when members of the public may address the school committee. Open forum is not a time for committee members to engage in dialogue with members of the public. Guidelines for open forum are available to you. Please know that we are interested in what you have to say, but we cannot respond without background information on your issue. Each open forum participant will be given 3 minutes to address the committee. Please come forward to the podium and state your name and address for the record.
Hi, thanks for letting me speak. My name is Susanna Gerard, and my address is 1030 Pleasant Street in Attleboro. I am the founder of a nonprofit located and based here in Attleboro called Partners in Exploration. We have just been founded this year, and we provide activities for youth and young adults is our mission. I'm also a parent of 2 high school students, both enrolled in the CTE programs, medical assisting and robotics and automation, and a member of the Robotics Advisory Committee for the CTE program. I'm here to talk to you about the student Charlie cards provided by the MBTA. It is a program that must be applied for by the administration of a school. The students cannot actually apply for them themselves directly. Why do I feel as though we should pursue this? It would open up the areas for both middle school and high school to be able to use the MBTA subways, buses around the city of Boston. at a lower rate. Only students 11 and under are actually free of charge. Students could go to their medical appointments, they could go to college visits, they could also, once they get into a CTE program and they're able to branch out and do their internships, they could go to something a little further away if they were able to do so at a reduced rate on the MBTA. Families can also use EBIC cards if they have them. Trains are 66 to 80% less carbon emission than cars, based on greenguides.net. And that students, can't we just do something to help our students save a bit of money? There are a few different types of cards. I would advocate the S card, which is the student card. It is a year-round program, discounted fares and passes, active from September 1st to August 31st. Cash value for reduced fares. They can purchase a monthly pass if they so choose, or they could simply buy 7-day passes. And students, families, guardians, or anyone that wishes to gift the amount of money to their card would be who actually adds the money to the card. The schools don't add the money. The families and friends add the money. This is a program that would have minimal cost to the school district. It's really the administration fee of asking for the cards and then getting them out to the students. It is an annual program to get those cards to the students, and they only have to be touched again if it's lost or stolen. The MBTA does have a program to do mass file uploads, so it's not an individual data entry, but a mass uploading to assign a card to a specific student. So there is some administrative burden in terms of prepping that, but there's no cost in getting those cards, and there's no cost to supplying them. Certainly not for a pilot program that I'm suggesting. Certainly, if budget allows someday in the future, and we wanted to actually add some to a student that is part of the CTE program, that is all something that's a possibility for the future. But I do ask that the school looks into, or the school committee looks into, applying for the student cards on behalf of the students that are age 12 and up, so that's middle school and high school, or even just begin with the high school students to provide them with a student card. That's my ask. I do have materials to leave with you if that's something that's allowed. Shares what I have shared with you. I understand you can't reply, so just going to pass it out.
Yeah, oh, perfect. If you have a handout, that's perfect. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to address the committee in open forum? Seeing none, I will close open forum. Our next school committee meeting will be Monday, July 14th. Any other updates or notes from the committee? All right, seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Motion passes. Have a great night.